Sherlock Holmes is such a prominent literary figure, it's no wonder his legacy lives on well into the 2020s. Since Arthur Conan Doyle originally penned the legendary detective in the late 1800s, there have been many actors to portray Sherlock Holmes, with some, like Benedict Cumberbatch, becoming synonymous with the role, while others were given a lukewarm reception and quietly faded into obscurity. Nevertheless, the character is still evolving over a century after his creation, with each new adaptation attempting to reinvent Sherlock Holmes for its specific purposes, be it modernizing the sleuth or adding new depth to his lore. The most inventive adaptations can extract key details from Sherlock Holmes, John Watson, and the general premise of Doyle's writing to create something borderline unrecognizable from the source material. There are countless modern television adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, but there are just as many adaptations that fly under the radar, like Psych, House, and Law and Order, Criminal Intent. Despite drawing inspiration from Arthur Conan Doyle, even fans of the aforementioned series may never have realized the similarities between Sean Spencer, Gregory House, Robert Gorin, and the blueprint, Sherlock. Yet, that proves the basic character archetype is still rife for experimentation. Furthermore, some iterations of Arthur Conan Doyle's work have been so beloved, ardent fans cling to hope that their favorite version of the character will return someday. For example, Robert Downey Jr. hasn't appeared as the iconic detective since 2011, but Sherlock Holmes 3 isn't officially off the books. Nevertheless, mystery fans are far from starved for Sherlock content, especially in 2026. From franchise-expanding films to pared-down standalone series, the genius investigator is alive and well in the modern media landscape, and his prominence shows no signs of waning anytime soon. Enola Holmes 2020 present. Ironically, one of the most highly anticipated Sherlock Holmes adaptations coming this year isn't really about the titular detective at all. Rather, the Enola Holmes series is set to release its third film in early July. The soon-to-be trilogy stars Millie Bobby Brown as the eponymous Enola, younger sister to famed Detective Sherlock, Henry Cavill, and government worker Mycroft, Sam Claflin. Despite the limitations of its Victorian London setting, Enola sets off on a quest to prove her own skills and find her missing mother. In the 2022 follow-up, Enola expands on her crime-solving passion by opening her own detective agency. Not much is known about Enola Holmes 3 besides the key players, but it's widely speculated to be the final installment in the series. There is still plenty of material left to adapt from Nancy Springer's The Enola Holmes Mysteries, but too much time has passed for Millie Bobby Brown to realistically play a teenager for any future films. Still, there are many unresolved plotlines that the third film will likely tie up with a bow, including Enola's heartwarming romance with Tewksbury, Louis Partridge, and her complicated familial relationships with her brothers and mother, Eudora, Helena Bonham Carter. Sherlock and Daughter 2025 present. The CW is fairly infamous for its television adaptations. While Riverdale took the Archie comics to a new, wildly controversial stratosphere, its superhero-driven Arrowverse retains a cult following to this day. As such, when Sherlock and Daughter was first announced, expectations were varied, to say the least. When the period drama premiered, however, critics and viewers alike were pleasantly surprised. The mystery follows Sherlock, David Thewlis, investigating a syndicate known as the Red Thread, while his new second-in-command, Blue Hunt's Amelia Rojas, is secretly trying to ascertain whether the detective is her long-lost father. Even the premise may sound questionable to purists, but Sherlock and Daughter strikes a fine balance between typical detective drama and a family conspiracy that feels soapy in the best way possible. The ending of Sherlock and Daughter Season 1 left the audience with even more burning questions regarding Sherlock, Amelia, and the London crime scene at large, but its second season could be a make-or-break moment. If the series can continue this positive trajectory, the CW may have a bona fide hit on its hands. Young Sherlock 2026 present. Numerous adaptations have attempted to explore Sherlock's youth, but most fall flat and end up sacrificing the most important traits of the character. Consequently, young Sherlock could have easily followed in its failed predecessor's footsteps. Thankfully, the British series instead offers a refreshing new take on not just Sherlock Holmes, but also his most important cohorts. With a 19-year-old Sherlock, hero finds Tiffin, running amok at the prestigious Oxford University, young Sherlock doesn't shy away from the growing pains of an amateur detective long before his prime. Similarly, the series revolutionizes James Moriarty's, Donal Finn, narrative function by making him Sherlock's ally and even friend rather than the sworn enemy most adaptations opt for. Despite its many risks, young Sherlock has been a breath of fresh air for Sherlock Holmes lovers and those who just fancy a good mystery. Unsurprisingly, Young Sherlock Season 2 has already been ordered by Prime Video, and it's sure to take the already captivating adaptation to even greater heights. Watson 2025-2026 Sergei Bachlakov / copyright CBS / courtesy Everett Collection. In stark contrast to most of its contemporaries, Watson begins by taking Sherlock out of the equation entirely. The renowned detective seemingly dies within the first 5 minutes of the series premiere, leaving John Watson, Morris Chestnut, to take up the mantle as the main character. Alongside an ensemble cast of highly specialized doctors, Watson opens the Holmes Clinic in honor of his presumed dead partner. As such, there's a drastic genre shift from detective procedural to medical drama, which works, until it doesn't. Unfortunately, Watson never seemed to find its footing, always keeping one game-changing twist up its sleeve that never felt warranted. Regardless, Watson survived 2 seasons before CBS officially pulled the plug on May 3, 2026. The saddest part of the show's cancellation is that a John Watson-centered spin-off could have been something truly special, but it proved to be slightly too out of the box for most Sherlock fans. The death of Sherlock Holmes' expected release, 2027 Image courtesy of Sky.